Hello, everybody. Welcome to this evening's live stream. Let's see if I can pop open YouTube so I can see the chat. Hello, hello. And all right. I think we're live. Okay, sorry everyone. So, tonight we are talking about what the most important part of your garden is. And it's not a product, y'all. Okay? Maybe you've heard the saying, but the best fertilizer is the gardener's shadow. Yes, that's right. It's you, the gardener. That is the most important part of the garden. So, tonight we're going to kind of chat about all of the various, not all, but some of the various growing styles there are out there, along with what my favorite way to grow is. Hint, living soil, native soil, outdoor. And what the most important aspects of that are for me, how I chose that. And at the end of tonight's show, we are giving away a bundle of classes. This is like over $600 worth of online classes that I have taught over the last year and a half, as well as a ticket to my live in-person hands-on class in San Diego. So if you're in SoCal listening, you're going to want to tune in, stay till the end, probably do the giveaway around 4:45, so another 20 minutes. But first of all, I just want to say thank you for all of the love on the last video. Dude, that was so great. The science of happy plants, and that is what the class is in San Diego, March 8th. We're going on the tour. We're going to be in Denver. We're going to be in Virginia. We're going to New York. We are going to Ohio. I'm super excited. Probably going to be in Michigan. Anyone going to Gems and Genetics? Let me know. I would love to chat more and pick your brain on that. But yeah, so let's just dive in. I wish I could see the freaking chat though. Let's see here. Still not working. Why? Why can't I see your chat? Oh, yes, there we go. It's working. Woo! Hello from Brazil. Aaron, let's grow. Chadwick, what up? Yay, yay, yay. So happy to have y'all here. Sorry, I always get a little freaked out by the live stream. I'm like, is this working? Ohio, Robert, yes. I just talked to someone today. I don't know who I was talking to. Curtis. So he works for Bud Trainer. Y'all probably know. This class is sponsored by like a freak ton of people. So we've got seedsmen delivering the seeds and genetics for the Blaze project. We're going to give away some beans. We've got the Stash blend for Mr. Grow It and the Stash podcast. Grassroots Fabric Pots is giving away things for every student. Bigfoot Mycorrhiza. Organics Alive is sending samples to everyone. Bud Trainer sending samples to most people. And he connected me with a store in Ohio, so I'm stoked on that. SD Microbes is doing compost for folks, so it's going to be like a lot of giveaways, a lot of fun stuff. Hi, Cannabiscations. Welcome, welcome. Good evening, everybody. Yay. All right. So, like I said, tonight's discussion is the most important part of the garden and the gardener as the heart of your garden. And so, what I mean by that is like you can go on and yay, Chadwick, thank you. You can go on the YouTube, right? And the Instagram and all of the apps and the platforms, and you can find so many people teaching you how to grow and telling you what the best way is. But F that, the best way is your way, what works for you, because everyone's life is so different and there's going to be a different interplay of things that happen that influence the way that you garden. And so we're going to talk a little bit about this true north and how we decide what the best way is for you. So I took this amazing class, and I'm going to give you a little excerpt from an article I wrote for my Patreon. If y'all don't know, I love writing. So even though I get on here and I live stream, I teach classes, I can ad lib, create videos. My true passion is like writing. So please check out my blogs, seedsman.com. You can check the link in the bio or the description, whatever. Find all of my current writing for them. I also write for the Humboldt Seed Company, and go to queenofthesungrown.com, learn, and there I try and update all of my articles on there. And then I have exclusive stuff on the Patreon. So what I'm going to share with you tonight is a little sneak peek into an excerpt from the Patreon, and I think this is from past June. So I took this class from Holistic Management. Alan Savory. He is an ecologist in South Africa, and he works on reverse desertification. And so many of you know that my background is in natural science. My sustainability and ecology is like my background and my true north, and a huge influence in the way that I garden. What up, Auntie MJ? So the thing is, like, I took this class and it was on holistic management of a farm and ranch planning. And it was, how do you create your farm or your ranch business plan so that it is most resonating with what speaks to your soul, right? So a lot of us here are gardeners as a hobby, but it's also really nice to be able to make money doing what you love. And so I've helped countless commercial grows, and I owned a few commercial grows back before when it was medical, a little bit into Prop 64, but kind of got boring after rec passed. Too much paperwork. And so, like, deciding your business plan or your ethos for your garden really comes from your heart, like, and what's important to you. So, like, we've got deep water culture, we've got living soil, we've got indoor and outdoor with the variations. We have native soil if we're outside, we've got hydroponics, we've got modified living soil or just organic. They don't care about the living soil, but as long as it's organic, like, there's so many different ways of growing. And after years of consulting, what I see is that there are, unfortunately, there's so much information out there that it can get a little overwhelming and confusing, right? I mean, what's the best way? So when you come into this, as more states are coming online and people are able to finally grow their medicine, choosing the method that works best for you it can be a daunting task because there is so much information. So my goal with tonight's live stream is to kind of break down some of these different various growing methods and like how you can decide what works best for you, and why. So like and we'll use my growing methods as the baseline example because that's the easiest, right? I started out growing indoors, synthetic freaking advanced nutrients. That's what how I was taught when I started growing. And I was like, this just doesn't make sense to me. At the time, I had fun because I was in college in chemistry, and so it was just really interesting learning how these different nutrients are reacting with one another. And we're going to really get into that in the science of happy plants, because my goal is to break it down so that regardless of your growing style, you understand the science behind this. And regardless of whether you're synthetic or organic, understanding the way that molecules and chemistry kind of work with your plants is going to make it incredibly easy to grow whichever style you want. And so as a indoor synthetic grower back in 2017, gosh, um, I was growing commercially and for dispensaries in Northern California. And my partner at the time was very like he was the boss. He was the one who taught me, and he was like, this is how we're doing it. This is my recipe. But I started doing the math, right? And it was costing $500 to produce 1 pound. At the time, we were getting $2,500 per pound from the dispo. So it was like, still a decent profit. But as recreational comes online and costs start going up, you really need to learn like what is your goals here. So for us, it was a commercial operation, growing the most yield, the bag appeal, testing, like those are all the things that people at dispensaries wanted to see. High THC, unfortunately, high terpene, packaging, the appeal, the nose, the structure, very superficial. And this was completely against my personal ethos. This was against what I believe in. So, when I was 20 years old, I started this like path of enlightenment. Like, I was like so fed up with the fucking world and the way that consumerism and there's poison in everything, and we don't take care of the planet, and we don't take care of each other, ourselves even. And so I struggled with mental health issues. I struggled with sensitive skin, digestion issues, just all around kind of struggling through my teenage years. And it wasn't until, I found cannabis that it helped start healing my mental health. And from there, once I began to heal that mental health, I wanted to heal my body. I wanted to not have eczema all the time and break out. And so I wanted to feel good. And food is medicine, and it's the same for your plants, right? So I began this journey. I didn't eat fast food for 11 years. No processed foods, like no artificial colorings or food dyes. Like I wouldn't be so extreme if I was like at someone's house as a guest and like, you know, I would eat what they serve. That's how my mother taught me. But for myself, it was pretty much don't eat out, just cook for yourself, whole foods, smoke a lot of weed and exercise every day, snowboarding and hiking and lots of puppy cuddles, and just like really focused on being as happy as I possibly could. And so when I started growing, and it was this commercial operation where it was this like yield, 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 bag appeal, synthetic, I was like, oh, this is not speaking to my heart and my soul. And so I, you know, I grew with that partner for about 2 years. And then in 2019, I started Queen of the Sun Grown. And so it was actually, for those of you who've been watching me for years, I started out as Queen of the Sun. And it was Queen of the Sun because cannabis is queen. There are so many applications. Cat Lady can confirm. I've traveled with her, and it was the healthiest I've ate on a trip. Yes, I really like I am very highly sensitive person. And so, what you put into your body is going to affect um, everything else in your life. And so I thought, I am so strict about like my lotion. I don't, the toothpaste, the drinks, everything that I consume. Like, I don't drink soda, but I've got my Alive root beer with reishi mushrooms in it, the ancient elixir. I don't take, painkillers or after a root canal, I was like, nah, I'm not taking that shit. I'll take some poppy tincture though. I'll take some kratom. I'll use plant medicine, and really just focusing on what Mother Earth has given us, because there is so much knowledge here, but we're in this time of of corporate takeover and greed, and that everything is about that bottom dollar. And so I believe that the United States, especially our government, is poisoning us with our food, getting us prescribed onto all kinds of medications that have this laundry list of side effects, when in fact cannabis has so many remedies, so many things that it does, and the side effects are what? So minimal. Like maybe you laugh hysterically till you pee your pants. Can confirm that has happened to me multiple times. Um, get the munchies, maybe eat a little bit too many snacks. Hopefully they're really healthy snacks, you know. And I'm not even saying like don't have any treats. Like I love baking bread and cookies, and using whole ingredients. Like the government has made you think through the food, like, you know, what is that, the food program, where, oh, let's say wheat, we want to eat as many grains as possible, red meat's bad, fat is bad, butter is bad, lard is bad. No, those are real things. Those are whole foods. Those are things that our body has. um Not medical advice. Don't token drive. I like that. Thank you. Um, like it's just unfortunate. And so when I started, like, I'm these are things that I truly believe in, and I'm very like very adherent to. I would say that this is more of my religion. These are my commandments of myself. And so when I started growing and I started creating Queen of the Sun, it was like, okay, I need to create a business and a gardening style that is cohesive with my values. And so I started just more exploring, learning. You know, I've taken sustainable ag classes. I was certified as the, you know, UC Davis Master Gardener, Master Composter. I took that class with Alan Savory, the Holistic Management Institute. That course really was amazing, and it was how to plan your ranch and farm according to what's important to you. And so in the class, um, what they really do is they focus on finding your true north. And what is the true north? So for me, it's creating a garden and a business that flows with the things that are important to me. So that's like, you know, being as sustainable as possible. And what is sustainable to me may be different to you, right? Like, I don't want to use a ton of single use plastic things. I don't want to use organic ingredients that impact the ecosystem negatively, because I don't think that my garden and my life is more important than animals' lives or an ecosystem. Like, you know, I talk about that in the bat guano video. If you guys haven't watched it, check out my clickbaity "two growers died from this organic fertilizer," because you know what? I love that it was the clickbait, but my goal with that video was stop using bat guano because it destroys cave ecosystems. Like literally, if you even touch stalagmites, if you've done cave tours and you touch it, like the oils on your hand alone can have far impacting effects on the ecosystem in that cave. If you are harvesting the guano, bats won't come back there. So it's just like that is something that was like really important to me. And then, which by the way, you guys, oh my gosh, side tangent, ADHD thought, Organics Alive, who is sponsoring the class, I use their bloom and their veg. It is a microbial ferment. It is a nutrient that's made from microbial ferment, and it is so clean and it's completely bioavailable to your plants. So that means that it doesn't need to be digested, enzymatically digested, either by microbes or enzymes of any sort. It's ready to go. So similar to like a synthetic. So we weigh our options, right? What kind of growing style? If you're in a smaller container, then you're going to need more available nutrients, bioavailable, like Organics Alive. And so after I did this discussion, the video on the bat guano, you know, I've been on this mission for like what's my most sustainable form of phosphorus? Because this is a limiting factor for yield. Phosphorus is a major part of ATP, which is the energy currency of plants. It's super important in cannabis when we see that huge burst of growth, week 4 through 6, when we're really bulking. We see our nutrient, and if you look at like synthetics or nutrient schedules, most all of the ingredients listed on your nutrients from veg to bloom are all of the same. They're just different ratios. And so we see a boost of phosphorus and potassium at this time. But we want a bioavailable source. So for me, not using like plants consume phosphorus in an inorganic form versus organic. And so once you have organic phosphorus, it needs to assimilate into an inorganic form that your plants can take up. Well, so with Organics Alive, it's already available. You don't need to break it down. So I do a combination of solubilizing and breaking down my phosphorus, which I use a rock phosphate and bone meal. Sorry, talking too fast. Thoughts are going everywhere. And so those are types of phosphorus that need to be broken down. And that's why I use a ton of barley from the very beginning to the end. Barley contains phosphatases, the enzyme that breaks down phosphorus. But during weeks 4 through 6, when I really want to ensure that we're getting that kick, I will incorporate more Organics Alive because it is completely bioavailable and organic. It's made from bacterial fermentation. So after I did this video, I reached out to Organics Alive about sponsoring the class. They said yes. They've sponsored my grows. They've given me all kinds of products, and they're just wonderful guys all around. So I asked him, can we have a conversation? Because I'd really like to understand how you're making this product and what the sustainability is. Because if you're making a bioavailable phosphorus directly from a bacteria without having to use a mined mineral, because mining has its own slew of environmental impacts, or a guano harvesting, like how are you doing this? And it's proprietary, but he said that he would come on and we'd have an interview. So we're going to break this down. But my thought is like, wow, this could be like so big for agriculture on a large scale. It's just the cost because of how he makes it. It seems like it could be cost prohibitive. So for me, I just really want to explore this and I'm super excited. So you're going to have to stay tuned for this interview with Organics Alive so we can understand, like, I just want to know what are you feeding the bacteria to produce this bioavailable phosphorus? What is the sustainability? Because that, for me, is one of the true north, my mission of how I am growing. So that's why I really love using Organics Alive in my garden. I'm going to check the chat and see because I see some questions. So Chris says, hi from Australia. What's your winter time growing regime? Are you basically restricted to mothers under lights or can you have plants outside in your area? So this is perfect. I love this question because this plays into my true north and my growing style. So for me, after growing indoors commercially for 2 years, we pulled 5 harvests off a year and it was back to back to back, just constant going, a lot of work. And I can't stand the artificial lights, being in cramped, confined spaces. And when you are growing indoors, you're trying to maximize your yield with your square footage and your footprint. So a lot of the times you're bending, it's not like this nice open flowing area where you can walk around the plant. It was like bending over backwards to trim and prune, and I really hated it. Like I said, I'm a highly sensitive person, so I'd get headaches from the lights, even with the sunglasses. And so I really don't like growing indoors. So I've created and built my garden schedule around the things that are important to me. And so I'm going to be picking up clones and starting seeds in March. And then I will be harvesting. I'll let them go as long as I can in October. This past year, that's what I did. I had picked up my clones in March, started seeds March, April, even in May, and then harvest in the end of October. So for my winter time regime, I am making bubble hash. I am planning my garden. I am, trimming and moving things around. So this past year, I did about half of every plant. Um, into the freezer for fresh frozen. And so last Tuesday was my first wash. I'm working on editing a video. So this is going to be exclusive for Patreon though, because I'll do a little teaser for y'all on the YouTube. But I created this video from the very beginning step, um, from start to finish, of how to make bubble hash and rosin tips and tricks. If you want to check out my article, it just went up on Seedsman, and it's how to air dry bubble hash, because a lot of people are inhibited from making bubble hash because they think you have to have a freeze dryer. Freeze dryers are $2,500 to $6,000. We don't need a freeze dryer to make really awesome bubble hash. I give some really great tips and tricks in that article, so please check out how to air dry bubble hash. And then tomorrow night on the Patreon, we're gonna at the end of every month we do like a nice little smoke sesh, a giveaway of some, and tomorrow night I'm picking up tomorrow. My bubble hash is finally dried, and we'll all talk about how to test your bubble hash, which is just super easy. You just take a dab of it, put it in the banger. If it sizzles, there's water in it. You got to let it dry longer. And I'm going to be pressing the bubble hash into rosin tomorrow. And so we'll have the squish video and we'll go through. I probably won't be able to finish editing the whole start to finish because I really got complicated with that one. But I'm super excited. So that's my winter gardening, is really, I make the bubble hash, so it's single source. I grew it, I'm washing it, I'm pressing it, and then making edibles. So I'm working on another article for Seedsman right now, which is making edibles with concentrate, because I prefer not to taste flour in my edibles. And then as we move on, because it's almost February, y'all, and my birthday is February 1st. And Cat Lady, who's here helping me, her birthday is on Wednesday. So everybody wish her a happy birthday too. And as we transition into February, I am focusing on garden planning. And so I grew about 10 pounds of A-nug flower from the outdoor garden. And I moved this past year. I moved May 1st and had my plants in the ground June 1st and started with a completely bare, like, I had to build this fucking garden from the ground up. So I'm gonna read this chat really quick because some crippled has asked, I make my own super soil and I'm also starting to not like the guano thing. Is the bird better than the bat? Is there something else I can use to replace bat guano? My answer for you is bone meal and rock phosphate. So I know that a lot of people are wary of using bones because a lot of the times they come from CAFOs. But for me, using a bone is a waste product, and I would prefer to use a waste product over a harvested product. So I'll choose coco coir over peat moss. I'll choose bone meal over bat guano. So those are options. And then of course the Organics Alive is a great addition for a weekly nutrient drench that has that available phosphorus. But yes. And then someone's got a fish system going with an algae wheel using poo from the fish for the plants. And this is what I'm talking about, is there's so many freaking different ways for you to grow. Aquaponics, hydroponics, deep water culture, living soil, organics, native soil, it's what is important to you. That's why you are the most important part of the garden. So chicken manure, Chris says chicken manure in limited amounts works really well, especially if you put a little in your compost tea. I did this whole discussion on Patreon last month on compost tea versus extract and reasons why I don't really use compost teas in my garden at all. And this is thing called carrying capacity. So I have the discussion on there. I might have to do a little sneak peek of that, but please sign up for the Patreon, y'all. It's amazing. I can't even organize and share as much as I want on the YouTube because I'm so busy creating content for Patreon, but I'm trying. I'm here. Yes. So Johnny, if you have leftover guano, use it. Waste not, want not. Um, like that's one of my mottos and one of my true norths. Waste not, want not. If the resource is there, and that's another reason why I like the waste products. But definitely use it. Use it if you got it. So for me, like when I started growing, I was really into sprouted seed teas because I wanted to unlock, like, planting in the ground is um like my ideal garden, right? Like I said, I started in synthetic cocoa hydro style, with advanced nutrients, and it was just against my ethos. And so as I learned more, like, potting mix, which is what you put into a container that you buy in a bag at the store, is not soil. That is just, soil has so much depth to it. It's 45% minerals, right? It's made of rocks. And so there's such a small fraction. I think 10% is organic, which is like a really good high soil organic matter. Um and potting mix is all organic matter. Now, your plants love that, right? But to me, the sustainability of potting mix just didn't, it's just against my true north, my goals for my life and how I want to be growing. So, um planting in the ground to me was the solution for that, because native soil, we can, sure, it may not be as aerated and as rich in organic matter, as your potting mix, but you can build up to it, you can improve it, and then you're also improving maybe the soil for other plant species, and then you can grow more um, food, medicine, native species. You can contribute to the ecosystem. So instead of just growing and buying, having to buy more things and fill it up, right? That native soil contains 45% minerals. What are minerals? Minerals are what we make our nutrients out of. And so I was just in Canada this past weekend, and um, I was looking at, there's this company called Campex or something. And I was like, what is this? This huge train car is just going by. And they were moving potash that was mined in Saskatchewan down to Seattle to the ports to ship out as a fertilizer. And so think about that. They're mining this. What this is, potash, it's in the ground. Rock phosphate, it's in the ground. It's in your soil. So figuring out how to unlock it, understanding the chemistry of these minerals, these molecules that make up the world around us, is going to allow you to be a better grower and a better, like, more efficient at using what you have available to you. You're going to save money. You're going to be more sustainable, which saving money is part of sustainability, but it just takes a little bit more knowledge. And so we really dive into it in the Patreon a lot. And the science of happy plants is really going to break down the how, because just understanding those chemical processes, like, it's going to allow you to grow so much better and so much cheaper. Um, Dry, I'm going to go back to the chat really quick. So throw your questions if you got them. Dry says seabird guano gave me great results. I'm sure it did. Seabird guanos are amazing. I used to use seabird and bat guano, and I loved it. So the alternative for me was using the rock phosphate, the bone meal, and barley. Barley is really high in phosphorus, and using the malted barley, which is essentially a sprouted seed tea, releases the enzymes that break down the nutrients. So the more something, like, the more excuse me, the more a seed contains that nutrient, the more enzymes that are present in the seed to break that nutrient down. Because seeds contain all of the essential nutrients that that plant will need for the first week of its life. That's what the cotyledon, those first leaves that emerge from your seed, are. They are containing everything that you need for that plant, because they cannot absorb nutrients through the root zone. They've got to provide themselves those nutrients. And so the enzymes that are present in the sprouted seeds break down nutrients within the plant with and make it like available instantly. All right, I gotta drink my reishi root beer, man. I've got a little bit of a cough. It's just been going around, man. Um, wait, aren't we all still? I don't know what you're saying, Caldeo, but good to see you here, man. Thank you for your support. I am gonna smoke tonight. I don't know. I gotta get this cough drop in because um I'm gonna smoke. I gotta show you something. I just said that I was going to Canada, or I went to Canada, and I gotta show you this really cool pipe that I got. Sorry to just completely change track, but I'm really proud of this. This is the Shire pipe. I haven't bought a pipe or a piece for myself in so long. Um, so, sir, what seed will break it down? Um, Malted barley. So when you say malted, malted just means that it's already been germinated. And so sprouted seed teas are when you take seeds and you germinate them and then you flash dry them in a low temperature to stop that growth process and halt the enzymes that where they're at the highest. And so a lot of like I used to do a ton of sprouted seed teas. Now, this was before like in between growing commercially. So I grew indoor commercially, then I transitioned one summer to just a few plants, big old. I grew like 15 pounds off of 3 plants outdoors, chilling. The next year, I went to growing thousands of plants again. And so, take a look at this pipe though. This is like my birthday present to myself, so I can have my Gandalf pipe. I'm pretty freaking stoked on this. I'm gonna start playing chess and puffing that. Anyway, I'll hit that at the end because I can't talk smart after I smoked. Um, so when you buy malted barley, you're buying it without having to go through that whole germination process. Because so I really liked it, right? I would buy the seeds, I'd germinate them, I'd dry them out, and then I'd blend them up, and then I'd make a tea in the tea strainer. You know what I do now? I buy malted barley from the brew shop because it's already done all that process for you. I grind it into flour and I water it in or top dress it. It's the main ingredient in my product Immunity at happyplantorganics.com. We just launched Label My Bud, made us some sick labels. Um, you can grab it now. I am super excited for this product because this is what I've been using in my garden for the last 5 years. Like, I do it religiously, and I want more people to use this because it works so well and it breaks down the nutrients that are already in your soil or your potting mix. And so when you are using this malted barley, you're accessing nutrients that may be locked into your soil and unavailable to the plant. Phosphorus, for instance, is one of those minerals that can have a tendency to be immobile in soil because it binds to soil particles. Now, you just need to unlock it. And you can do that with phosphatases, which is the enzyme in malted barley. So Kevin says, how much barley are you using in your teas? I'm using 6 cups to 5 gallons of water every water time. So I'm using a flour, and because I'm using a flour, it is much more like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like condensed, right? Versus like I used to use 2 tablespoons per gallon, which you're using a lot, 6 cups I would use like 2 tablespoons per gallon of like the grain that was just rough chopped. Now that I'm doing the flour, it's probably honestly it's probably similar. I probably just keep it the same, just 2 tablespoons per gallon. And I'll do more. Like I don't measure a lot when I'm cooking. And so that's the thing with malted barley. You can't really go overboard with it because it's also a really great, it contains chitinase and it's a complex carbohydrate high in lignin. So it's a really good food source for fungi to actually consume it. So when I do a kickstart to my compost, like a booster, if you have like old compost, maybe you bought some or it's just been sitting around stagnant, aged, and you want to activate it, wake up the microbes that are present within it. A lot of times microbes will just insist and sporulate, so you'll have fungal spores in there, you'll have encysted like protozoa. You want to get things active, right? So moisten it, sprinkle malted barley over the top, put another nursery tray on it, let it sit for a few days, and this will really boost that fungal activity. The bacteria will wake up. Once the bacteria wake up, protozoa consume 50% of your bacterial um, community, and then that's just kickstarting the nutrient cycling. So this is super important for living soil. If you're relying on living soil and the soil food web to digest your nutrients, understanding the processes between these different species and molecules, as well as the enzymes, which are complex, they're complex chains of amino acids, essentially. Amino acids are the building blocks of life. I mean, think about it, it's coming from a seed, right? So there's so much knowledge. This class is going to be broken down and really simplifying everything. It's going to be 3 hours long. We're going to have a textbook that everyone gets so you can go back and read it. I've been writing for 5 years. I have 5 years worth of articles and information, and information on this specific process, because I have been building my garden to be exactly useful for my life. So some people want to make sprouted seed teas. I have a 4-year-old. Once I had my baby and I was growing 1,000 plants at a time, no, I'm not going to germinate seeds and make a sprouted seed tea for every water. I'm going to buy malted barley, crush that shit up, make a tea every water with the malted barley. But I'm not going to that whole process, because what's important to my garden, the most important part of my garden is me. The most important part of your garden is you. So doing what is important to you. Maybe you like mainlining, maybe you like scrogging, like whatever it is. Maybe you love rabbits. Like I have chickens and I really want rabbits. Pelletized poop is awesome. I have plenty of articles out there, recipes, interviews with Mr. Growit, the last one on closed loop systems, the differences in poops, Growcast, the whole poop loop, like knowing if you're going to use poop, knowing what poops you can use right away, which ones need to be aged, which ones needs to be composted. Like if you're using horse poop, put some freaking worms in there and see if they live, because a lot of people are deworming their worms, deworming their horses. God, that would be crazy if you're deworming your worm. So there's all kinds of things, like just understanding what's important to you, what you have, if you have access to these things, what are your resources. So when you're creating your true north, like listing what's important to you and then what your resources are is going to help you create the most efficient garden for you and what you got going on. So maybe you're growing in a 4x4 bed in a tent, or maybe you're in pots. Like the way that you're feeding your plant is going to be completely different. So creating a gardening regimen that takes into account all of the resources that you have available to you is like the best thing that you can do. Because if you're relying on living soil of the soil food web for a 5-gallon pot, your yield is going to be way down low. And then I would say, hey, incorporate some organics alive in there, because then you can give your plant bioavailable. You're not relying on nutrients to cycle through bacteria to become available, or a protozoa, the whole cycle to become available to your plant. So that's what I mean by the gardener is the most important part of the garden. Wes, that would be super cool if you raised meat rabbits. My goal this year is meat rabbits and meat pigs. So pigs are really good at helping dig up and composting things. I'm going to be building a hugelkultur mounds for my new garden space. So you guys will have to tune in. I'll definitely record that and create some video content for that. Using rabbits for teas, because pelletized poop you can put on immediately. Oh, and I've got a shitload, literally a shitload of cow poop in the fields all around my house. My neighbors have 140 acres and they run cattle through our bottom 3 acres into different pastures that are fenced off, and this is called holistic or rotational grazing. And so like I was like, oh, I should collect the poop, but I think I'm going to inoculate the field with psilocybin mushrooms this spring and spray, backpack spray the whole fields and see if we can't get some poop loving fungi on there. But cat lady, your friend has meat rabbits and now she has a shit ton of rabbits. Is she not going to eat them or turn them into the meat? I love rabbit saddle. It's so good. The back strap of some rabbit. Ooh, if you live in the Bay Area or you ever get a chance to go to the Bay Area, the Gourmet Ghetto, Alice Waters, Chez Pani, she started the farm to table movement back in the 60s, 70s, and her restaurant is perfecto. And she has a rabbit dish oftentimes on there that is so good. Let's see here. Let's do a giveaway because I've just been going, and it's already 5:07. So we've got 51 people, and wow, amazing, y'all. And each one of you is the most important part of your garden. So pick a number 1 through 51, and whoever gets the number wins the bundle of online classes. And if you can make it to the in-person San Diego class, you're welcome to come. If not, you've got the all of my online classes, which let me see if I can share screen. That would be cool. I wish that's the whole point of this, right? Let's see here. Share. Share screen. Okay, here we go. So you guys can see what I got going on. So here we go. This is information on my website for the San Diego class, March 8th. Science of Happy Plants. We're talking microbes, nutrients, stress defense. And then here are all of the classes I taught online last year. So start your sun-grown garden today, how to grow big buds. I wanted to call that, I advertised that classes. I like big buds and I cannot lie, but people didn't like that. How to treat pests organically, IPM. I have a harvest year-round, DIY light deprivation. I grew in NorCal using light assist and light dep for 2 years and pulled off 3 harvests a year outside doing that. Really amazing. And that's some of the weed right there, that flower that I grew in my greenhouse. And there's the greenhouse that I built from plans from Iowa State University. Literally, that was a compacted, barren piece of land. I've built so many gardens from the ground up. I love it, guys. So if you need help, reach out. That's one of my favorite things to do. I love new projects. I've also got this class with Chris Trump, the natural farming, which we did a lot of IPMO, which is one of my favorite microbes, the entomopathogenic. I got a video on that. Those microbes are fucking sick. An edibles class, which I'm working on the edibles article for Seedsman right now, and I'll include the recipe for these gummy bears. These are organic honey, local raw honey, and pear nectar bubble hash gummy bears. They're so freaking good. Winter soil wellness, what you can do to take care of your soil during the winter. Harnessing mindful growth, harnessing neuroplasticity. So this one was like taking a step away, using cannabis and mushrooms and meditation and exercise, a lot of the limbs of yoga to create, that healing mental health and becoming the person that you want to be, because really that's like cannabis is what it's done for me, is helped me become the person that I want to be. And then a breeding class with purple caper, such a good class. You want it, I got it, dripping like water. DIY irrigation. Like I said, I've built so many gardens from the ground up, and I am not a hand waterer. You guys, I freaking hate hand watering. You got to get that irrigation set up, keep that soil life happy, those fungi popping. And then another flower safe IPM crash course. And so all of these classes add up to $600 if you bought them separately, but I have them on sale for $142 as a bundle, and whoever gets the number today wins all of those classes. So let's go to a number generator, and it would be hilarious if 33 wins. It has 2 times the winners. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. I didn't realize that 33 won twice. So somebody, I guess, should be guessing 33. There's 56 people now. So 56 people have the chance to win because that's it. I'm putting it in, generating 1, 2, 3 now. Go. All right. Let's see here. The winner is, did everybody get there? Okay. I think I see somebody. Let's see. Aaron 49. Woo, 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 woo. Aaron, you won. Aaron Costin. You got all of my classes. So you're going to have to send me an email at alexandria at queenofthesungrown.com. Give me your name and your email. I guess your email is included in the email, obviously. And then we're gonna get you a discount code. So you just enter it and you'll have access to all of those classes. Every single one of those classes comes with a 1 to 3 hour long presentation, recorded video, along with accompanying articles, recipes, or full books, full ebooks, because I love writing. So you're gonna have like at least what's 12 times 3 36, so like over 30 hours for sure of 30 hours of education, y'all. That's a lot of time. I'm so grateful that I have your support, everybody's support for this, and being able to do what I love. So really, really, oops, I don't know why I accidentally hit dry potato. Tag that to the screen. Sorry. Let's see any of these video chats. Let's see. I didn't guess I was late. No way, that's epic, Aaron says. Yay, congratulations. All right, everybody. I am about to smoke out of this pipe for the first time. I've never used a pipe like this before, honestly. Like, I have one kind of like this that's wow, I don't even know how to do this. I might not do this live because I'm going to embarrass myself with this weird contraption that you got to put inside of it. But I'll let y'all go and I'm going to try out my pipe and go make dinner for my family because that is the most important part of my life right now is my baby boy. And growing with him in the garden is just, it's amazing. My life is so wonderful and I couldn't do it without you guys, so I'm super grateful. I am really excited for this class in San Diego, so if you can come, please come grab your ticket. I was feeling a little bit bad about having a class in SoCal after the fires because a lot of people lost everything. But I just did an interview with Mycelium Matters, and we are going to be donating a portion of the profit to this initiative that is introducing or inoculating fire-following fungi into neighborhoods that have burned to the ground. And then they're going to inoculate with these native fungal spores, and then introduce some native plants to help with the erosion. And so I think she's going to do like burlap sacks that have been inoculated with the spores. It's a really cool initiative. So I am getting that video. It will be ready Thursday. Tune in for Mycelium Matters YouTube video interview with her. If you want to support, I'll put the Venmo Cash App because each of these, I think the initiative, it costs $100,000. It's so crazy to go through the bureaucratic bullshit that the fucking government is. So support, and I'll see you there in March 8th. And please like, subscribe, share if you found this channel interesting. If you've ever learned anything from me, I appreciate you all. And be sure to watch the Science of Happy Plants video so you can get a little sneak peek of what is to come in this upcoming class.